Thank you all for joining us on our next episode of Table Talk. I'm Lauren Brett with the Star Herald, and with me today I have WNCC Interim President, Dr. John Harms.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Harms, kind of explain the process of when they announced that Dr. Holcomb was resigning, how you came and stepped into that role.
Well, actually, they had been working with the Board Trustees Association, the National Association, to try to find someone to come in and be an interim president. And there was a woman who came out, took a look at the college in the area, and she felt like it was too rural for her and probably not enough shopping and those sort of things. She was from Seabrook, which is a suburb of Houston, Texas, so I could really understand that. So I guess I was a second pick here. And they came to me and said, would you be willing to fill in? I said I would be willing to do that, only up through December 31st. I'll be done then. So hopefully they'll have their CEO hired by then. I think they'll do their interviewing in November, and probably the board meeting in December they will choose who they would like.
Okay.
And then after that I'll be gone, and it just then depends on how soon that person can come in. Now the nice thing about this is that we have John Marn here, who has community college presidency experience. He spent 20 years with the college and has a lot of experience in this whole thing about community colleges, and he's now our executive vice president of the institution. He's on an interim position. So we'll be able to have continuity straight through. I'm involved in John and all the decision making and all my thinking processes, and so we'll make sure the college runs smooth if the new college president can't get here in January.
So over the next couple months then, what do you see your role as for the college?
My role right now is to make sure that we have everything ready to go for our HLC accreditation. Yeah, we're working on that, and then actually starting to look at new program developments. You know, the heart of a good community college is the heart of community. And if we're not reaching out to our community and we're not talking to our community, you know, about what they need, then we're not doing a very good job. And so we're starting to address that issue, looking at short-range impact training for business and industry. I'd say to anybody who's listening to us, if you have any interest at all, and you need training for your company or your business or whatever it might be, hospital, doesn't make any difference. We are equipped to do that sort of thing, and they just need to come out and talk to us, and we'd be happy to address that issue because it's part of our role and mission, and in the future it'll be a major portion of our role.
And so with all the programs that you offer the students as well as the community, how do you see that as moving the college forward?
Well, I think that will move the college forward because you're driven by your numbers and you're funded by your numbers. That's a terrible thing to say, but that's really true. If your enrollment's down, your finances down. And the way we're funded by state aid is done on an FTE production. And we get so much per FTE and REUs and those sort of things. And we balance it out with our property tax that we get. And really, what has hurt the community colleges to a certain degree of its funding is that we rely too much on property tax. And really, the legislature needs to find a better solution for our funding, probably more state aid for the community college system, because property tax is an issue for everyone, public schools, counties, cities, community colleges, and we just put too much emphasis on that.
Okay. And so what is some of the feedback you've gotten since taking over as the interim president from the community?
Well, some of the feedback I've gotten is that a lot of people feel like we kind of have lost our mission as far as reaching out to the community and coming back to the business industrial training. You know, the economy is doing really well. This is the best our economy has been in several decades. And what we have found is that nationally what's happening in the community college systems, that people are coming back, but they don't want the associate's degree, they want a certificate, and they want to go to work immediately. Now that's the beauty of the community colleges, because we know that that's a complete cycle, probably 5 years, maybe sooner, hope not sooner, that the economy will not be as strong, and it'll come back into the community college system look for the liberal arts, look for associate degrees, look for a way to upgrade their skills and go back into the new marketplace. That's the beauty of the community college. It's flexible, dynamic, and can reach into meeting the needs of individual people, students, and the public in general.
And so after you served as president at WNCC, you spent a couple years as a state senator. How has that helped you in your role now back with the college?
Well, I spent 30 years at the college, then retired, and then decided I would run for the legislature. And it really opened my eyes about how the whole government process works, and the legislative process works. And one of the things I found, you have to be very quick on your feet, and you have to be prepared and ready, and you need to understand the legislation. I studied every weekend. I mean, there was not a weekend that went by in 8 years that I was not studying. And to a certain degree, it's kind of like going back to college. I enjoyed that because I was learning new things and new ideas, but it taught me that you have to be prepared. And you better have a speech in your back pocket because wherever you go, someone's going to ask you, well, now, Senator Herms, what are your thoughts? And you're in the midst of it. So it taught me a lot of things, but I think the most is that it's a good system. It's the only one-house system in America, but it's efficient, works well, and it represents the people well.
And during recent weeks, WNCC announced some new administrators, and some of those are familiar faces to WNCC. How do you think that's kind of contributing to the future vision of the college?
Well, anytime you add new people, I really kind of like that because what it brings is new ideas, fresh thoughts. I'm not saying the people who are in the system are not, have fresh ideas or thoughts, but it brings another element that I really like to have. It's a mixture that you have. And the one thing that I think is really important is that as a college president, you want people to feel free to challenge you of the direction that you're going. And the reason I say that is because if you are so hung up on yourself and your own thoughts and own ideas, you're not going to go anywhere here. And my thoughts, I like people who will speak up, say what's on their minds, because you know what, they might be right, they might be wrong. And so you just have to learn how to adjust, and if you got a big ego, you're in the wrong place, both in the legislature and as a college president, because they'll eat you alive.
And so with some of the needs of the students and everything adapting over the decades with technology and learning disabilities, how do you get those needs addressed for the students?
Well, that's a good question, and it's a complicated question because students come to our institution with all kinds of different needs. You know, you have a variety of students. You'll have students who academically are really very strong, which will whip right through our system very easily. Then you'll have students who come to our institution who are deficient in several areas, and we do a lot of pre-testing and replace our students who are not quite ready for college math or English into developmental or remedial or foundation education, whatever the modern term you're going to want to use. And the reason for that is we don't want the student to fail. We want the student to get started right and to have the skills they need to have. So we try to meet all of their individual needs, and then we can place them after that into their programs. One thing I would say to young people who are thinking about coming to our community college or somewhere else, that they really need to make sure that the major that they're looking at and thinking about wanting to be a part of their life, make sure there's a job at the end. Make sure that you're marketable at the end. I've watched students come in not only to our college, but to four-year colleges and universities and get to the end and have a major that there's no jobs available. So you spend all that money, all that time, and all that education getting prepared, and you get to the end, it's not there for you. So you really need to think very carefully about what you're majoring in and where you want to go in the future, because that's important. And it's expensive to go to college today.
How would you say that the career pathways has helped students find what they love?
I think it's phenomenal because it gives them a chance to experience it. You know, like for example, the program we have in the Scotland Public School System now, hopefully gearing the process gives students the opportunities to experience different careers. They're going to start clear down in the 8th grade, and students are going to get a chance to follow that. and to look at different options, and I think that's just a marvelous system. And Scottsbluff, quite frankly, public schools is not only a state model, it will become a national model, because it leads right into the community college system, and gosh, by the time the students get to our institution, they pretty much know where they want to go. The other side of it, I think, is that a lot of parents are thinking that the best thing for their child is to go and get an associate's degree, or maybe look towards the bachelor's degree. Right now, that's not where the market is. Where the market is in the skilled areas. It's technology, it's in building trades, construction trades, LIDLs, you name it. That's where the jobs really are right now. Now that cycle's gonna come back around, and I would not discourage people from going on and getting their bachelor's degree, or their master's or their doctors. But right now, that's where the jobs are. And if you're young and want to have an exciting career, boy, they're there. And a great thing is come to a community college, get your education, your training, and go to work immediately.
And so what are some of the things going on at the college that is kind of helping celebrate its anniversary this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of things going on in our institution. We're going to have Moon Glow on the 15th, we have our open house on the 15th, and we have our faculty coming in on the 13th, and you name it, we've got going. And it's a pretty heavy agenda. There'll be lots of people there. Moon Glow could have 6,000 people come to the institution and take a look at that aspect of it, along with the open house that we have and the construction. I think they've done a nice job in getting ready for that, and hopefully we'll be done with everything. I don't think we'll be quite there, but we'll be close, and it'll give the public a chance to see the facilities. One thing I'd like to say, I guess, at this point, I would like to thank our college foundation, the people who contributed to the foundation for this project, because without the public stepping up and saying, yes, we'd be willing to contribute, this would not have happened. And our institution was like the Scottsbluff Public Schools and Gary. We just become an older institution. It's time to upgrade it, and that's what this is about. We're not done. We'll be back in another few years, I'm quite sure, to do some other things with the college, but a major portion of it's being taken care of.
And when people come to see this grand opening, what are you hoping they experience?
I hope they experience some pride in the fact they played a real important role in something that's critical to our community. You know, I think our community, our college, if we're a good community college, we're the heart and the center of our community. We get it down to like all the bowels of the community and help it change and to move and to be an exciting place for not only the college but for the community and our growth. And I hope they'll take that all into consideration. That they played a valuable role, a valuable role in making all this happen, because they have supported us since 1926. So.
And will continue moving forward.
Yeah, they will, hopefully.
So you touched on it a little bit about how the community plays a role in evolving WNCC. How does the community also support WNCC in achieving the goals for the students and the faculty?
Well, they provide a lot of scholarships. They provide money for us in our foundation, you know, for equipment and those sort of things. And plus, just the support of the college. And then go to Theater West, for example, and see some of the things we now have in our theater. It's a beautiful theater. The place is packed. And we're not only are we on a training side, we're also in a cultural environment where we try to bring people into the college to experience art and theater and music. And to me, that's really an important part of the educational process, because I think in rural America, we have a tendency to kind of shy away from the liberal arts, the cultural side of things, and I think it's important for the college to take that leadership role and to be a part of something I just happen to love. And that's theater and music and vocal and speech, debate, forensics, whatever terms you want to use. I think that's a very important part of this, and I think we provide those sort of things here. So I think that's a critical part of our mission.
And then is there anything else that you want the public to know about moving forward in these next couple of weeks as it starts to get ready for school and the unveiling?
I'll tell you, I just would like to say to the public again, thank you for all the years of service. You know, we go clear back to 1926. We were an extension of the University of Nebraska. And later, through a lot of history, became a part of the Scottsbluff Public Schools, and then county, and now district. And I thank the public for that, because it never would have happened. This college is the key to this community, and I believe very strongly in it. It's the hope, and the only hope that we have, of changing the direction the community wants to go and training for the future. So if you're going to bring businesses here and companies here, you have to be flexible as a community college to meet those needs, or you're not going to grow.
Well, thank you, Dr. Carnes, for taking time out of your day.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for tuning in to this latest edition of Table Talk.